Hey, James, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good, brother. What's up?
My question is how to co-parent after a toxic 10-year relationship.
Oh, man. When was your divorce finalized?
So this is where it gets sticky. Is we got divorced back in 2022. After about 6 months of separation that way, we kind of got back together here a year ago, and now just recently kind of split up again. So
Y'all gonna get back together in 6 months?
no,
Is your divorce finalized, or are y'all just legally separated?
no, it's finalized, but
Okay.
we have 3 kids, and that's kind of where the reuniting came into play.
Oh man, dude, I'm sorry. What a mess.
Yeah.
Is your ex? Can y'all act like adults around each other, or is it pretty rough?
In the past, on both sides, I'll admit it's been a little petty. As of recent, I've sobered up quite a bit, and me not drinking has definitely helped my communication skills. But her feelings are obviously still where they're at, and some of it definitely justifiably so. So,
did you do some
kinda
stupid
just a
things
mess
when you were
that way.
drinking?
What's that?
Did you do some stupid things when you were drinking?
I'm pretty good about keeping it in check, but obviously, the first thing you lose after the first drink is your judgment, and the more you drink, the worse it gets, and you start saying stupid stuff. And
Who left who?
I left.
How come?
Just not being happy. Obviously, more than that, but
Yeah, what's
overall, just
beneath
not being
that?
happy and getting to the point where it's like I told her at that point, at that time, I was going to end up with either one of us hurt or me going to jail because the cops ain't going to hear me getting, me talk about me getting beat up or anything. So
She physically
I just kinda
abusive?
there's been some incidences, yeah.
Have you been abusive back?
I mean, I'd like to say no, but taking full accountability, I definitely have had some pretty shitty reactions. So
Okay.
that's kind of where my part plays. So
Okay. So my guess is every time y'all are around each other, things are pretty electric. And sometimes that electricity has felt like romance, right? Has felt sexual. But sometimes often that electricity is every alarm bell that each one of you have is going off because you're not safe. Is that fair?
that's pretty accurate.
Okay. So really, brother, the only way forward is for both of you to, in all honesty, I'm just thinking about this in real time, man. I would ask her if she'd be willing to go see a counselor with you guys so that y'all can come up with a plan that y'all co-create together with a neutral third party.
That was another issue of why we needed to officially separate again this time, because I had been proposing that, and I know she kind of doubts my commitment to that as well. But it's something that's been proposed and never really acted upon, and
Okay.
I take that as kind of where she feels about it. So it is what it is.
Okay. So what are you asking me? How can I help you?
Well, like I was explaining to the lady I talked to earlier, kind of where this has left me, John, is I just feel like, again, I've been with her since I was 18. I'm turning 30 tomorrow. And due to this relationship and other past, life stuff, my problem now is I feel like I'm stuck in fight or flight mode all the time. And that feeling is super draining, And I feel like I'm either a really great guy when I'm on it, and then when I'm not on it and I'm starting to slip, it's like definitely a slippery slope. And I've made a lot of good steps, and I'm feeling a lot better about my life now. I'm in a better spot than I've ever been. But now that I'm out of the bottom of the barrel, I'm just kind of looking for some guidance as to how I can kind of move forward and try to do something to offer her resources as well, to figure out how we can just be our best jobs as parents for our kids, even if you don't like me, and if we can't get along as, friends or whatever, but at least just be civil enough to say, hey, I got the kids, I'm doing this, is that okay? Instead of having an argument or talking about what's on the court paperwork and all that stuff,
You got to go with what's on the court paperwork for now.
Well, and absolutely. And so that's where I try to stick to. And so, like, for instance, today is my day off of work. From the way I understand our paperwork is 4 or 5 o'clock, right around there is whatever our designated drop-off time is. So I designated with her mom today. Since I had my day off, I dropped off the kids by her at noon instead of 4 o'clock. Her mom said that was fine. I paid her to babysit. Everything was good. But now I've got harassing text messages from the ex-wife saying, complaining about what's going on. You know what I mean? And it wasn't something I twisted anybody's arm. I simply asked her mom. She agreed. But that's an issue for the ex-wife. So
it may be that she's having to hug 2 little boys in the middle of the night who are crying because I just want time with my dad.
Which, true, and on my end, they get that.
But they didn't today. I'm just saying they didn't today.
But,
and right now, for right this second, your ex-wife has a pair of glasses on, and those glasses are James sucks. He's the worst man. He ruined my life with his drinking, with his abuse, with all of it. And she's not in a place where she can take accountability for her actions. So every moment, ounce of energy she has is looking for a story that backfills what she feels about you. And dropping off the kids 4 hours early on your quote-unquote day off when you're quote-unquote not doing anything except laying around, like whatever story she's making up. So what that does is it just puts gas on a fire. So I tell you, like, what you need is a period of time when you follow that court order to the letter. Because what that's going to communicate to your ex is something that she's never felt with you, which is stability.
Okay.
She's felt like profound, deep, like romance novel level passion. Right?
Yeah.
Like she's been all in on you, dude.
And she has, and that's the accountability I take where I feel bad is, she wanted me to be my best, and now I'm at the point where I've gotten better. But for me to be my best, I need you to keep growing with me. And she's just
nope. That's not fair. That's not fair to her. Y'all got divorced, man. You're on your own now. You have to be responsible for your growth and your well-being and your safety and your mental and emotional health. If she's doing something that puts the kids in an unsafe situation, then you're going to deal with that. But her adventure is hers now, man. Y'all are separated. Y'all took this sucker to court and said, we can't solve this on our own. Y'all officially break us up. And they did. In a perfect world, yeah, dude, y'all would grow together. Y'all would recommit on behalf of these kids. Y'all would be able to be civil together. And that's just called marriage. Y'all ended that. And so now your work is, I need to be the best man I can be, the best dad to these 3 kids I can possibly be, and the most mature, connected, ego-free co-parent that I can be.
Yep.
Right? Any energy spent trying to fix her or get her to grow with you or whatever is a waste of your time. And it sounds like you're trying to go back and to use 12-step language, like make amends to somebody that doesn't want you to make amends with them. She doesn't want your insights or your information or your programs.
Yeah, fair.
So what have you been doing lately that's helping you become this person that you've wanted to be for so long, that you struggled to be, and now you're on the way? What are you doing differently?
So like one thing you mentioned, instead of laying around on days off and stuff, like I volunteer and I coach sports. So that's one way I've tried to, really get on my purpose and substitute bar time for coaching time. And that's been obviously a really good building block.
You enjoying it?
I love it.
Yeah. Connecting. What are you coaching?
I've coached 6 seasons of soccer, but now I'm transferring to high school football in the same community. So I'm kind of moving up a little bit.
Thank goodness. Going to a real sport. I'm just kidding. I was always clowning my soccer buddies. Okay, It's great, man. What else are you doing?
Just working, and in between 3 kids and then the coach, and that's pretty much a lot of my time there. So,
when's the last time you sat down across from somebody, kneecap to kneecap, and said, "I'm not doing so good"?
A while.
Okay, you need to do that because this reality is becoming real, and it's going to bury you. You got a big hole in the center of your chest, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. You can't run from that, dude, and you can't fill that up with external stuff, man. I'm telling you right now, you will crash and burn. And those boys, those kids deserve better than that. She does too. You do too. And I wish there was another way. I wish with all my guts there was another way, dude, but there's not. You got to sit down in front of another person and be seen and heard. Because my gut tells me you haven't dealt with the grief yet. You've been really busy acting and trying to do the next thing, but you got to deal with the grief part.
Yeah.
That you wanted this thing to look a certain way, and now it's not. You did not want these 3 kids growing up in a divorced household, and here they are. This girl that you've been in love with since you were 18 years old drove you crazier than anybody, but you also loved her more than anybody, and you did not want this to end like this, and here we are.
Yeah.
And until you exhale and sit in that darkness for a season, man, your body's just going to keep going, playing whack-a-mole with the next Xanax. And I'm just telling you, man, alcohol works until it kills you, but you can remove alcohol. You've met people who quit drinking and right, they just smoke weed all day, or people who don't do that and then they work 170 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
You can backfill that with volunteering. Volunteering looks good on a resume and on a dating app, but you can become addicted to volunteering as a way to avoid. I blew up my life and my life of my 3 boys, man.
Well, that's kind of exactly where I'm at right now. I mean, so you're right on the dot with everything.
Okay.
I mean, again, obviously I genuinely enjoy it, but yeah, it's definitely an escape from the reality I'm living.
Escape's not bad, but it has to be purpose. It has to come from the inside out, not the outside in.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to use a bunch of high school kids to prop you up, and that's not fair to them.
Well, no, and that's why I be careful. I got the self-awareness. The problem is just when you're kind of hitting some of those manic slopes and kind of
there you go,
making sure you take measures and you live with some rules and you don't break the rules and you have standards,
Yeah, man, but if it was as easy as that, the world would be a pretty perfect place.
Again, I can say it, but doing it's different.
That's awesome. So, have you been to a group yet? Have you been to a meeting yet?
So my history with AA is back when I was, a daily drinker. I was going to AA, like you said, kind of the outside in thing, kind of as a front, just to kind of make some other people in my life happy and make sure I could just at least get through. So I was going to AA at 10 a.m. in the morning. I would leave work, go to AA for an hour, and I would be on the inside banging my head on the wall listening to these other people talk. And it honestly made me feel like a narcissist, even though I'm not. It was a lot of weird communication. But so I'd leave the group after an hour, go home and have a drink or two, and then go back and do my job. And I was doing that for probably at least 3 months, giving it the old college try as far as the AA goes. I knew I had a problem, but at that point I didn't want to quit yet. I just knew I needed to. And
So maybe you walk back in the front door knowing this time you're not better than them. You are them.
And which I'm not.
I know you know that intellectually. But dude, you lost your kids, man. You lost the love of your life. And the thing that breaks my heart talking to you, man, is you lost James. This wasn't how you drew up 32, right?
No.
I'm not saying the meetings are right for everybody, so that's okay if it's not for you. I can't in good conscience tell you to do anything other than to go find somebody, whether it's a therapist or a counselor or a coaching mentor or somebody in a meeting to sit down across and say, I'm not okay right now. Every major religion for all of human history has had some sort of confession wired into it. And over the last few centuries, we've turned confession into, come tell me all the bad things you've done. That's not the origin of confession. The origin of confession is, I have a hole inside my chest, and the person across from you says, yeah, me too.
Yeah, right on.
And I don't know how or why. I don't know the alchemy of that interaction, but that's what heals us, is being seen and known. And we can go up and do the next right thing the next day. And then we go again. And then we go again. And then we go again. And then all of a sudden you look up in 7 months, 9 months, 2 years, and your ex-wife says something that normally you'd have punched a hole through the sheetrock, and this time you just smile. And you're like, all right, I'll be there on time.
Yeah, and that's luckily kind of where I'm at right now. And, I agree with what you said. Like, I can't really try to plant seeds as far as trying to inspire her to act right, but I'm just trying to, lead by example.
There you go.
Like they say, time heals all wounds. I don't know if that's going to be the case
here.
But
that is an old, stupid trope. It doesn't. Time does not.
That's what I'm saying. So.
Intentionality does.
Like, I don't know if I just be consistent for 6 months, maybe she'll get off my back. I don't know.
Longer than that.
That's where I'm kind of, well, whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
But
because it's for those boys. And right now you're still in your head, sound like you're courting her. Your marriage is over, dude.
No, there's no confusion as far as that part.
Yes, there is. I can hear it. But hey, it's good. Just show up for those boys.
Right, and that's the plan. Like I said, we were reunited for about a year. They were trying to make things work, and then just recently we kind of officially separated and moved away from each other again. And so I'm just trying to each be 50-50. I don't need to be Captain America. I just need to be a good dad, show up, and just do my thing.
There you go. And maybe if you want to be really brave, like super brave, ask your ex to go to coffee with you.
Okay.
And just say, hey, I can't sleep and I'm sick. I just need to say this out loud. I'm sorry for all this. And she might blow up at you and be like, oh, it's too late now. Like, I know, I'm not trying to, I just need to say, we got 3 little ones, man, and let's make the best possible avenue moving forward. And I've got a lot to prove to you when it comes to stability and day in and day out and over time and year after year after year after year. Just know I'm going to do my best, man. I just needed to say that.
I'm going to write that down word for word.
Will she respond to that?
Yeah. I've tried it less eloquently, but I like the way exactly how you added at the end. I've got some time to prove and put under my belt to show you, like, I'm going to be stable and be there for the kids. But I just, I guess I don't even need to ask her for grace. Just tell her my intention and let that be that. And
if she blows up on you, that's her. She gets to own her response.
Well, that's why you do it in public at a coffee place, right?
That's kind of my secret, but I've also learned that sometimes people blow up anyway, regardless. But I'm saying don't do that because you're looking for some. Don't do that because you're looking for.
I don't want to look for a reaction. That's why I'm here. Is I want to avoid those reactions. I want us to just be adults.
There you go. Yeah. And hopefully down the line, when you're going to do something that she's going to blow up on, and you can say, "Hey, now it doesn't sound like it's a good time to talk. When you're ready, just give me a buzz." Mm-hmm. Or I don't talk by text because text we get lost in translation.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah. Exactly, because then you read it, you don't feel the vibe behind it. And
That's right. So maybe tell her, "Hey, I'm terrible at texting. I'm just not good at it." And so the only time I'm going to text you is just to say the word call, and then just give me a shout when you're available. And that way I can say, "Hey, I've got the day off. I'm going to do this. Your mom's going to babysit. Does that sound like? Are we cool with that?" Which is different than her getting a text from her mom saying, "I have to pick up the kids."
Well, no, again, she, in her words, I needed to go through her mom to communicate. So, because she didn't want to, and I was like, whatever, like for the time being, that's like right. her mom and I get along really well. So whatever, like if that's what you want to do. Right. And so that's why it went that way. Yeah. Otherwise, I would just be direct and just be civil and say, hey,
But also tell her, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable going through other people. We're going to be adults."
I tried that, but again, I'm trying to accommodate without bending the knee. And I understand I have to take accountability. This is the bed I made. I got to lay in it. I get that. So now how do I get up out of this bed and just make this thing and move on with my day?
Well, it's the old Dr. Phil thing. Do you want to be right or do you want your relationships to be okay?
And that's where I know I've evolved a little bit because I'm past the point of caring if I'm right.
There you go. Take a knee, brother. It's for those kids.
Okay.
Take a knee.
Thank you.
It's for those kids. And I'm gonna get a bunch of red pill responses on the internet, so don't read the things on this because you're gonna get a lot of like, "Yeah, you tell her." Just shut up. It's about those 3 kids. Not you. Shut up. I'm talking about the those with the negative comments. These are for the 3 kids, man. If I gotta take a knee to love my kids, make sure they're safe and that they're in respective non-electric homes, because I've already blown their world up by divorcing their mom and then trying to reunite and then divorcing again. And I'm going to blow their world up again when I get remarried, and she's going to do it when she gets remarried, because kids hang on to a fantasy that one day my mom and dad are going to get back together. Dude, I've been taking a knee all day long on behalf of those kids. That's the least I can do. That's the least I can do. Because it's not about me anymore. It's about these kids. James, man, appreciate your humility, and I appreciate your honesty and integrity. And for those of you listening and wondering why I'm not beating James up for X and Y and Z, he knows. He knows he screwed up. He knows he was abusive. He knows those things. And I want to honor this man by honoring the changes he's making in his life and his attempts to go do the next right thing. That's what redemption looks like. I'm proud of you, James, for the steps you're making and for the restoration you're trying to provide in your ex-wife's life, in your kid's life, and in your life. You're worth that change, my man. You're worth that change.